and welcome to this week's episode of Real Estate Talks with Ajah. On today's episode, we'll be exploring three major clauses that you should look out for before signing your contracts of sale. Now, buying a property in Lagos can actually come with a whole basket full of hassle, from title verification to compliance with zoning regulation, and of course, ensuring that you are not trapped by ridiculously drafted contracts of sale. But when you are a follower of Venturanna, this channel will dish out loads of tips and advisory that will help you make the right investment decision right here in Lagos. So without much ado, let's dive right into it. Now, what is a contract of sale to start with? A contract of sale is a legal binding agreement between the buyer and the seller of a property. It usually contains the details of the property transaction that includes the pricing, the payment plan, the delivery date, and of course the legal obligation of both parties, spelling out all of their rights and obligations. A clause, on the other hand, is a specific section of the contract of sale that outlines particular terms, obligations, conditions, the rights that binds the buyer and the seller of a property together. Each clause helps define the expectations and legal responsibility of both parties that form the contracts. While this might seem like formality or just another template for communication, clauses within a contract can either protect your rights or expose you to exploitation. Now, there is nothing in a contract of sale that cannot be negotiated before you sign, but once you have signed, it is binding on you. That is why you should know all of these clauses and make sure you negotiate them. And of course, at Venturanna, basically that's what we do. We help our clients negotiate clauses that may be of potential danger in the future before they sign their contract. So the very first clause that we'll be exploring is the foreign exchange fluctuation and building material increase clause. This clause is mostly found in off-plan projects and basically give developers the rights to increase price indefinitely. When you look at the Nigeria economy in recent times, one thing you will know is that there is really no stability in the economy, be it in the area of foreign exchange rates or in the area of prices of goods and services that includes building materials. There's really no time in recent times that these two major elements in the economy are fixed, So accepting this clause is a bit tricky, especially understanding that developers in off-plan do their forecast before fixing prices. Agreeing to such clauses essentially means that the buyer is committing to pay more than the initially agreed price. Let me explain how this particular clause can play out in real life scenario. Assuming you buy a 2-bedroom apartment off plan from a developer for 85 million naira, and this developer is scheduled to deliver to you in 12 months time, but there is a clause that says in the event of fluctuation in foreign exchange rates or fluctuation in prices of building material, developer has the rights to request for additional funds from you. What this means is after 12 months, this developer is unable to deliver. By the 18th month, that you can suddenly wake up and be slammed by additional bill of 40 million naira. And this clause, trust me, is binding on you. Like I said, the best time to negotiate clauses in a contract is before signing. Once you have signed, they are binding on you, and you can only negotiate that particular amount that they've slammed you with. That's the 40 million naira. You can negotiate it at that instance, but you cannot negotiate paying that money. I don't know if I'm communicating. You can negotiate that 40 million naira. Oh, it's too much. But you cannot negotiate that clause that you've already agreed on an amount and you are not going to pay. You cannot negotiate it at that stage. That is why before you sign any contract at all, you have to read in between the line and know what clauses are going to indict you on the long run. At Venturanna, we will not encourage our clients to sign a contract with a clause like this. We frown at a clause like this. What we do is we ask the developers to expunge such clause before we allow our clients to sign such contracts, so that's because we expect that you as a developer, you've done your homework, you've done your forecast before putting out prices. So a client that is paying outright is not paying the same price as someone that is doing a 6-month payment plan. You've already factored in the interest that they are paying for a 6 month, a 12 months, or 18 months payment plan. So we also expect you to also take part in the risk sharing, bring in your own equity contribution into the project, seek additional sources of funding to complete your project, and not necessarily rely solely on your investors and push all the risk to them. That's a very irresponsible way of doing business, and we don't allow I'm frowning, right? This is the more reason you should seek our advisory before signing a contract. Now, the second clause you should shine your eye well before signing that contract is that clause that says you will be required to pay a certain percentage of sale value for resale transfer. This very clause is one I call the hidden trap consent. Basically, this clause simply says at any point you choose to resell your property, that you pay a certain percentage of the resale value to the developer. This basically is unfounded. There is no justification for a clause like this because you have already paid in full for the property. The property is 100% yours. Let me create a scenario to bring this particular clause to perspective so you understand better. Let's assume you have a property you bought for 100 million naira. You've paid all the dues, you are not owing. It's 100% your property. The transfer documents have been done in your name, you've paid for all of that. Now you are simply selling at, let's say, 200 million. You bought for 100 million, you are selling for 200 million, right? 200 million is supposed to be your money, for your investment, but this clause is simply saying that you will be required to pay a percentage. It could be 5%, it could be 10%. The most frequent percentage they use for this clause is 10%. What that means is that before they can effect your transfer to your new buyer, you will be giving the developer 10% of 200 million. That is whopping 20 million naira of your money. That's a clause you should never agree to. The property is yours. The right to sell is also yours. You should not be limited by clauses like this, because it is when you want to sell that clauses like this become a major impediment to your ability to sell. So at the point of signing a contract, make sure you do not see this clause. The essence of clauses like this is to impose ongoing control over you, and the way out of clauses like this is never to agree to them. So at Venturanna, what we do for our clients when we come across clauses like this is to ask that they are completely expunged from the contract of sale before we encourage our clients to sell. We vet through every word in that fine print before we encourage you to sign. So if you are new to this channel, you understand why now you should subscribe to our channel, activate your notification bell, because of course you will be getting a whole lot of advisory and tips to purchasing your property in Lagos like this on regular basis. And of course the best listings are here as well. Be rest assured that when you are a Venturanna client, you get the very best. There is so much more that will give out to our clients that you want to be part of. make sure before buying that property in Lagos, you reach out to us, because you don't want to get trapped by this kind of clauses. And of course, there is so much more that you should look out for. That takes us to our third clause that you should look out for. The third clause you should be on the lookout for is the one that says, in the case there is a dispute, for dispute resolution, that you're only limited to arbitration and mediation. It simply says there is no court action. However, even if you do not anticipate any form of dispute at all, it's important to acknowledge that disagreements can arise in the course of executing a contract. Now, beware of clauses that limit your right to seek court action. This clause basically waives your right to seek legal redress in the event that you are not satisfied with the results of the mediation or arbitration courts. Now let's bring this clause to perspective. Assuming you purchase a property, an off-plan property that the developer was supposed to deliver in 2 years' time, but 3 years down the line they've not delivered, or maybe they've even delivered, but they used substandard materials as against what was promised, or maybe they come up with some funny terms that are not contained in your terms of agreement with them, and in the process of trying to reach an amicable resolution, you feel, okay, the way out of this is to seek legal redress. What this clause is saying is that you can only be limited to mediation and arbitration. The truth about ADR, that is alternative dispute resolution, is they might appear efficient, quite all right, but they tend to mostly favor the party with more power. In this case, the developers, they are very powerful, so it limits you largely where you are not satisfied with the outcome of arbitration. This clause is simply saying you do not have a right to seek redress in a higher court. I hope you understand how tricky a clause like this can be. You cannot seek redress in a public court, and that is where the issue is. So at Venturanna, what we usually do is we insist you include the rights of our client to seek redress in a higher court in the event that they are not satisfied with the outcome of the verdicts of the arbitration courts. So let us know in the comment section if you have come across any other funny clause that we've not mentioned. Leave it in the comment section and let us discuss. In the meantime, this is it about this particular episode of Real Estate Talks with Jacob and Ajah. Make sure you continue to watch this channel, and of course, if you are looking to buy a property right here in Lagos with good advisory, we are your #1 plug. Give us a call or send us an email, and visit our website www.venturanna.com.ng, and you'll be sure to find the right properties there. Thank you for watching. Bye.